On a Wednesday morning, you call it Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. We call it your midweek thriller. My name is Wally Scott. Welcome on the show. Too many things to discuss, but the major thing is, yes, the European Super League and the breakouts of major clubs who think that they have level and they have money. But most of them have stepped down. And the word this morning is, it's a game for the fans. The fans own the games. And the fans said no, and the clubs had to step down. The fans win eventually. We'll talk about that later on the show, okay? Now, the governor of Abia State, Okezie Ikpeazu, has waded into the uncertainties surrounding Enyimba FC's involvement in the CAF Confederations Cup fixture against Al Ali Benghazi in Libya. People's Elephants were at risk of missing the Group A fixture in Libya as a result of flight and visa complications in the requirements for entry into Libya. The chances of Nigeria's only representative in the CAF Confederations Cup suffered a further blow when CAF turned down their initial request for postponement of the game. However, Governor Ikpeazu has stepped in at the most crucial moment by making provisions for a chartered flight to convey the team to and from Libya. Brownson Unwanna, good morning.
Good morning, Wally.
Brownson Unwanna is my guest on the show this morning. He's a sports analyst of repute. Brownson, let's start with the fact that Enyimba almost missed this match against Al Ali Benghazi. They missed it by whiskers, only for the governor to come to the rescue. Should we have to always wait for this?
It shows you the level of clubs in Nigeria and how our clubs are being run. As it stands to be corrected, in the MPFL, we have no private-owned club that is run by private individuals. And then we run everything like ministry, where it has to pass different tables, it gets approval, and then some bottleneck. This commissioner is not around for 2-3 days, and all of that. So all these things come to play at the international stage. I think it's an embarrassment to Nigeria, not just Enyimba International, to be in that situation. For instance, let's even go to Europe and talk about, say, Celtic, for instance, want to travel for an Europa League fixture, and then you are saying the flight arrangement is not made, and you are having issues. They have departments that does all these things. Before the fixture, once the fixture is made, the department is working. What the team needs to get and team management is documents, flight document, travel document. You're ready to go, but it's not the same in this part of the country. So
now, Brownson, my question would be: at the beginning of the year, COVID or no COVID, it doesn't matter which one. All of these dates had been put on ground before today. We knew this match would take place today, like months ago, if possible, since last year. What's the excuse? Okay, good, we didn't get Schengen visas, we didn't get our flight tickets ready, we need 130 million, 2 days to, 48 hours to. They are looking for 130 million. Where would they get it?
Exactly my point, Wale. Now, I said that departments that are supposed to be in charge of all these things. Now, once a game is fixed, a date is being known, the department gets to work. Now, it's not the duty of the manager, like, or the coach, as we call it here, to start sorting out travel arrangements. No, there's a unit that's supposed to do that. So it's really bad. We need to up our game if we really need to rub shoulders with other teams in Africa. But I want to thank the governor for wading into the situation and making sure that Enyimba gets that, that document.
Yes,
and represent
definitely.
the country.
Thank you very much, Governor Ikpeazu of Abia State, for coming quickly to our rescue. So we'll play Al Ali Benghazi later today, and maybe they'll be back again tomorrow, but the flights will take them to and fro Libya. However, Brownson, let's break the egg once and for all this morning. When I was growing up, the best clubs, the clubs that we all knew, were all privately owned. Maybe this morning the egg should be broken by saying that maybe government should hand off our football. For example, growing up, we had Inwayamu United, private. Abiola Babes, private. And many more. Stationary stores, private. Julius Berger, USC, all of them. UTC, all privately owned. First Bank, all privately owned. And then they were doing well. And we heard very little or nothing about government-owned football clubs then. And now we're hearing about football clubs being owned by government, and wow, this is where it's gotten us. Obviously, the government cannot take care of these clubs. Leave them for private investors to do it.
But Wale, however, let me even ask you: can you buy a Quara United, for instance? It's not attractive enough. So sport branding generally, I mean, which team has a branding of a marketing officer? So there are lots of things that we are not doing in this part of the country about sport. A lot of work has to be done. For instance, I cannot invest in any of these clubs right now because they are not attractive. They cannot attract brand. At a level where clubs are still saying that sponsorship deal, shirt deal is a problem. For instance, when you see some even what is club in Egypt, where you have apart from what they have the shirt sponsorship deal, you see some brands on their arm. But in Nigeria, even MPFL does not have sponsor. No, we are talking about the clubs. So, Wale, it's a big deal. I think it's a shame on.
I like your angle. I like your angle, Brownson, from the angle of
Yeah.
the fact that, yes, the clubs are not, there's nothing to actually want to invest in. I agree with you. And there are also issues of trust issues. As if
Yeah.
I put my money, will I get my money back? That apart.
Yeah.
We are also looking at some government officials being greedy. A reeks of greed. And I'll give an example and call names. I won't say something I won't call the name on my shows. Now, 3SC in Ibadan, were actually going to be sponsored. 40% of the club was going to be sponsored by a betting company. Do you remember? A betting company approached them, a sports betting company approached 3SC and said, give us 60% of your thing and we'll share the proceeds. Let us take over the running of this club. The club, they said no. Because of the money the government will give the clubs on a yearly basis. The club simply said no. And that reeks of greed. That's all. These guys are offering to actually take the job off you and give you money at the end of the year that you don't even work for. Just sit back and relax and watch the club thrive. And they said no.
Totally agree with you, Wale. I mean, administrators have killed football. Civil servants. It's unfortunate that civil servants are running sports in Nigeria because these guys, they have absolutely no interest in development of the country. I'm not saying sports. I'm saying this country as a whole. What these guys are interested in is those extras, those corners, those things they can do. And I can tell you that it's not even what the government signs that gets to those clubs. For every table the file passes through, money drops at that level. So these same guys will be the one to sabotage the efforts of private sector. I mean, 40% is a good deal. 40% is a deal. It's a very good deal. But the administrators will not allow you. You understand? So it's a problem that needs to be fixed once and for all. And at this point, I want to call on the government, to investigate those people that, that are being the middlemen between the government and the club, because these are the people killing football in Nigeria.
Okay, before we go to our next topic today, let me just break my usual hard-lined stance when it comes to things like this. In Egypt, at a point, their Senate, like our Senate here, actually had an order and said, listen, if you are a foreign-based company and you are in our country in Egypt here, and you are making money off our country Egypt here, 1% of your profit yearly must go to a sport of your choice. They didn't give them conditions though. Take a sport or a team of your choice and sponsor with 1% or 2% of your yearly income that you make from our country here. They didn't say please, though, must. They made it into law. Now, there are all these companies here, even some more Nigerian companies. We see their logos on foreign, even in South Africa here. We see Nigerian companies with their logos on their jerseys. Small clubs in South Africa. As in not even level of them, I will release on now. We see they sponsor. Maybe Nigeria can look that way. As in, don't make it a plea. Make it by force. Make it a Senate a bill. If you are in our country and you are a foreign company and you're making money off us, look for a sport and sponsor of your choice, but must. Maybe that will work. Maybe if we go hard on it, maybe it will work.
Totally agree. I mean, makes a lot of sense.
It happened in Egypt and it works.
Government policies again, returning back to the government. Government really has absolutely no interest in sports. We've seen cases where in the last Olympics that Nigeria participated where training jerseys, training kits were not available. Wale, we are still far. We are 20 years behind. We are just pretending. And until government, like you rightly mentioned, policies are put in place, the right policies and having the right people that understand the sport. We'll be talking about this year in, year out.
Okay, Brownson, please stay with us. We're not going anywhere yet. On the show this morning, I am happy. Normally, Manchester United, you hear them say, glory, glory, Man United, the fans talking. And you hear Liverpool say, we never walk alone. And you hear Chelsea say, we are the Blues, you know. And the fans are the hearts of the match when it's going on. But the fans for the past few years have been put aside by these club owners, these club billionaire owners. And they say, listen, the fans don't matter. I want to make my money. It's been about business in the world of club football across the world. Eventually, these guys made a bad move. They plan to make a breakaway soccer league. They call it an European Super League. Super League for the rich alone. We'll be seeing Ronaldo week in, week out, seeing the rest of them week in, week out, and they think that'll be fun for the fans. And the fans said no. And when the fans started to actually protest, everybody was like, what can you guys do? You guys are just fans. And they told them, we're not just fans, we are the heartbeat of the clubs. And it's sad to know that clubs like Arsenal, who actually were put together by a group of men who went to the war, who came back with legs amputated, hands amputated, they agreed to £1 each, and they formed the club Arsenal today, the Gunners. And then you look at them and say, we want to break away and do a league without the consent of the fans, and the fans said no. And the breaking point was Chelsea's match yesterday. The fans just went gaga, and the fans won. Every club is stepping down. Every one of them is stepping down and saying, we don't want to be involved. We don't want to get in the black books of our fans. All of a sudden, the fans become so important. Now, Europeans soccer's breakaway Super League project lay in tatters on Tuesday after the 6 English Premier League clubs involved in the project quit 48 hours after agreeing to join Italian and Spanish teams in the controversial elite competition. Chelsea Football Club fans celebrated after their club announced it would pull out of plans for a breakaway Super League. The project is now in tatters after Chelsea, along with 5 other English clubs, said they would no longer be involved. Man City were the first to back out of the venture, just 48 hours after agreeing to join Italian and Spanish teams in the controversial elite competition. Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur, and Chelsea then announced they were following suit. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said they would consider legislation to stop the breakaway, likening the plans to creating a cartel. Now, Man City boss Pep Guardiola has urged the original 12 European Super League members to clarify reasoning behind the breakaway competition. All 6 English clubs, including City, have announced that they will withdraw from the project after heavy criticism from across the footballing world. Guardiola said it's unfair for managers and players to respond to backlash as they focus on the business at the end of the season.
Of course it's getting worse, but who cares? It's a business, it's money. Just for these 6 teams? No. It's for everyone, for the FIFA as well, in the World Cups. We start with 16, 22, 34, 36, 42. We're going to play World Cup with 50 countries. It's okay. It's okay. And the UEFA, more games. UEFA, bring the referees. Yeah, that's good. And the rest is the clubs. The rest the clubs. Do they listen what the managers or the footballers say that when finish the season, we'll have 2 weeks, 3 weeks off. And after, start again. And you have to demand them. And many injuries. But what is the problem for the injuries for the players? Absolutely anything. Another player. Don't play this one, play the other one. The show must go on. And after, when they play, they touch something but maybe they don't like, and after they react. Saying that, everyone had to play the same rules. So it's not fair. It's not fair, honestly. When just one player, teams, nothing happened, always they play that competition, the other ones, no. You have to play the competition if you deserve it to play. If you play good on the pitch, after you deserve it, you are playing this competition. But everyone can complain. Ajax can complain, Sevilla can complain, Leicester can complain, West Ham can complain. It's normal. I will complain the same. But why don't clarify why the reason why decided? Why clarify? Come out and explain all of us. It's not fair for all our managers and the football players respond this subject and appear around in the most important part of the season. It's not fair. Honestly, it's not fair. When we play for everything here, 10 months in month appear in that positions. They have to clarify, go out and explain all around the world. But even myself, I don't know. I don't have all information. I don't have it. It's just a statement. That's all. They have the obligation to do it. It's so serious. They have the obligation to explain everything. But the UEFA has to know if it's happened, it's because it's too late. Something wrong happened. Always they fail. UEFA always they fail. If some clubs, important clubs, create this kind of situation. Why arrive in this situation? Why arrive in that moment? Why? Tell me why.
Brownson, vintage Guardiola, outspoken as usual. He says the coach and the players are the closest to the fans and they don't know anything about it. You guys sit down in an air-conditioned boardroom, agree to a Super League, you don't discuss with your managers, you don't discuss with your players. Who does that?
Business, money, it's big. But I must tell you that it's really sad that these guys think that they can just make decisions. And then, one thing what would have happened through that competition would have killed football, would have killed the likes of West Ham United, Aston Villa, Elche, Napoli, name them. It would have killed sports because players want to look at that level to play. So it's really cool that finally the fans rose up. But Guardiola made a very big point. How can you have a Super League without, let's even leave the players, at least the team managers involved to be part of the process? But this money bags just feel they can wake up and make decisions after they're paying the coaches. So it's just like master slave stuff. So we have a new competition for you, just go and prosecute the games and all of that. So there are a lot of explanations to be done because I think it shows absolute disregard for managers and players. But fans, again, Wale, has shown that football, yeah, it's business, but it's a game for the fans. The fans
Yes.
rose up to the occasion, and of course, the club owners knows there's no football without the fans. Let them go and play football without fans, you know. So I agree with Guardiola. There are a lot of explanations that needs to be done.
I think
and
the fans. I think
we await that.
the fans win this morning. The game is for the fans, owned by the fans, and of course, it's good news for the fans this morning. The fans actually prevail and they win. Now, Chelsea laboured to a goalless draw at home against Brighton and Hove Albion in the Premier League on Tuesday. A match overshadowed by reports that the Blues had ditched their plan to join the breakaway European Super League. Now, in a setback for Chelsea's push to qualify for next season's Champions League, the competition they had controversially planned to snub coach Thomas Tuchel admitted his side's focus was lacking and that the previous 2 days was distracting, given the outpouring of anger at the breakaway plan. The game backed the drama seen outside Stamford Bridge before the match, where hundreds of angry fans demonstrated against the club's plan to join the ESL. The protest turned to celebrations as media reported that Chelsea had begun the process of withdrawing from the breakaway league, with fans singing, "We saved football."
Yeah, you have to admit also that was a huge distraction since 2 days. Was not the full focus on our game, which maybe plays also a role in all this. So given all the circumstances, we are clearly not happy. I think that the owners and the presidents or the responsibles in the clubs know this, and I think that I cannot think anything else that they love competitions because they like to win big trophies and they have a passion for football. Look at the owners here in your league here in Premier League, what they invest, what teams they build, what clubs they build. This is the most competitive league in the world, and this is also because of the owners build such strong clubs and such strong teams. Don't forget it. So I would like to hear arguments, and I would like to hear the points, the real points behind it, and the real idea behind it, and the details. And I did not have any details. It does clearly not feel good as a coach when you're asked all the time about it. That's why I can only repeat that I'm not the right person to talk about it, because I have not read one page of this idea. Well, I trust my club to take the right decisions, to be in future a competitive club. My message is very clear. I miss every supporter of us in the stadium. I miss supporters since over 1 year. I don't want to get used to it, to play in empty stadiums. This is my message.
Brownson, while the Blues fans, Chelsea fans were protesting, news came in that, of course, the Chelsea were going to back down from the ESL, and the chants changed from what they were singing to "We saved football."
Yes, you must give kudos to the Chelsea team. I mean, I was very impressed as about 4-5 p.m. yesterday. I was following the proceedings. I saw Chelsea fans that were already in front of Stamford Bridge protesting. I mean, they were not just protesting on social media. They went down to the stadium, to the streets in London, protesting. And then, I mean, you could see the effect. While that was going on, Liverpool fans were also making intent to also join. It would have been a chaos in England if that did not change. But I must tell you, Chelsea fans took the lead. Kudos to all Chelsea fans around the world. They indeed saved football.
Yes, well, a lot of thank you to, I didn't think I was ever going to say this, but thank you to Chelsea fans across England and in London precisely. They were in front of Stamford Bridge as early as 4 a.m. for a 6 p.m. match. And of course, they continued to chant and shout. They didn't stop chanting and shouting until when news broke in and they heard that, listen, Chelsea were backing down from the ESL, and they changed their song to "We have saved football." Yes, they have somehow, some part of football, they have saved it. Thank you very much, Chelsea fans. Now, Arsene Wenger blasted the Premier League's elites for their role in the now doomed European Super League breakaway. All 6 English clubs have officially announced that they will withdraw from the competition, which Wenger described as a strategic weapon against UEFA. The former Arsenal manager believes the sides could have destroyed the Premier League, likening plans to the UK leaving the European Union. The Frenchman, who is FIFA's chief of global football development, insisted that he would never have supported such a project during his time with the Gunners.
Look, I never believed from the start on that this project will go ahead just because it ignored the basic principle on which football is based. Is access to top-level competition has to be through sporting merit and result to the Euro League by the results in your domestic league. Once you ignore that, you kill the domestic league and you kill the whole culture of domestic football. So that means I didn't believe a second that would ever work. Our fans will never accept that, and rightly so. And I must say, the biggest paradox in all that is the English clubs. England voted for Brexit to master their destiny. England has the strongest league in the world. And by signing documents like that, they destroy the Premier League. I would never have supported any project who was not based on sporting merit. And I believe that the official organizations like UEFA, like FIFA, have to protect the essence of the game. That means make sure to promote teams through quality of work and give a fair chance to teams who work well and reward quality through competitive aspects. And I would never have supported a league that is not based on sporting.
Brownson, call him whatever you want. I call him Arsene the Nostradamus this morning. He predicted this since 2015, that someday these clubs will come together and want to form a super league, and it will destroy football. He said this in 2015.
I mean, yeah, you must call that a very good, maybe this part to say prophet. But while it's also important to note that this is not the end of this Super League.
True that.
If everybody wants to go to sleep and feel this is over, no, these guys have to go back and re-strategize. Now, I read somewhere about the top English team that have withdrawn, saying that they'll come up with, a better plan, especially for the Brexit-related teams. So we may not see a Super League, but we might see something in that region in future. We expect that. I don't know how soon that will be, but most likely that will happen.
Okay, let's wait. Hopefully we'll wait for it. We're ready for it when it comes. Thank you very much for joining us, Brownson Unwanna, on the show this morning. We're very grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome, Wally.
And now tennis. Fifth seed Roberto Bautista Agut of Spain beat fellow countryman Pablo Andujar 6-4, 6-3 in the second round of the Barcelona Open on Tuesday. 11th seed Yannick Sinner beat Igor Gerasimov of Bulgaria in straight sets 6-3, 6-2. Francis Tiafoe of the United States beat Spain's Alcaraz Garcia, a 17-year-old wildcard entry 6-4, 7-6. Earlier in the day, Feliciano Lopez was ousted by Italy's Lorenzo Musetti. Musetti broke Lopez's serve 3 times, winning the final 12 points of the match in a 6-4, 6-3 win. Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa on a Wednesday morning, your midweek thriller. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition, same station. My name is Wale Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.